A gute Woche. I don't know if anybody had a chance, but I sent on Friday a whole piece that Rabbi Schoenberg wrote about whey. So if you want to look into whey, it's on the WhatsApp.
I don't have WhatsApp. They can't contact me on WhatsApp.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, shakon yimid v'roi.
It's the only drink.
Is it disgusting?
No, it tastes.
It's the only drink where you don't make a nut
I have
Wow. Yeah, it looks like tea. This came from his seconds when he does. Okay, we're holding Daf Kufte Zayin, and we're holding 4 or 5 lines from the bottom, from the top. So what we have here is one of the ways that we wanted to learn Basa B'Chalav was a ma'atzad between Chometz and Klai Kerem. It was a three thing ma'atzad. So now the Gemara is going to attack this Klai Kerem. Klai Kerem are seeds from 2 different species of food. You're not allowed to plant them together in a field. Says the Gemara V'lifroich. I have a way to slug up the whole matzad. Because yesterday we were discussing if you don't have a good kasha on number 3, then you can't just throw out a pircha koldu. You can't say matzad l'shovesh that they're all gedulei. Oh, sorry. Wow. Oof, mistake. We were discussing the rules of matzad, and one of the rules is if you can't attack the last one, number 3, with a really good question, so you can't just throw in a simple question that all 3 they grow in the ground, because that's not a chumrah, not a kula. But now the Gemara says I have a really good question about Klai Karen. What's the good question? If you have a good question, then I could use one pircha kolduhu. What's the question? When you put the seeds in the ground, so it's a very interesting question. How do we view Klai Kerem? When does it become asur? You take 2 seeds. You take an apple seed and an orange seed, and you put it in the ground together. That moment that it goes into the ground, it becomes Klai Kerem, or when it sprouts something out of the ground, it becomes Klai Kerem, or maybe when it takes root, it becomes Klai Kerem. When does it become Klai Kerem? When are you over? When do these seeds over? So the Gemara is asking. The Gemara is assuming that it's when it comes out of the ground. So the Isser of Klai Kerem is whatever comes out of the ground. So whatever comes out of the ground never had a Shas HaKosher. We don't care about the seeds. We care about the growth. And the growth, from the moment that it sprouted from the ground, it was Asur, and it was always Asur. But we're trying to learn Basa B'Chalav from Klai Kerem. Basa B'Chalav had a Shas HaKosher. And when it originated into this world, it was mutter to drink milk, and it was mutter to eat the meat. And when you combine them later on, then it became asur. So it had a Shas HaKosher or not. How could you bring me a raya from Klai Kerem that it's so asur that when it was born and created it was asur? So that's why it's asur b'hana. But maybe Bas B'Chalav is not asur b'hana.
I can plant grapevines.
Omer Avada B'Ahava Zoysu Meres Klai HaKerem Ikoro Nesar. So therefore the Gemara comes to a conclusion. You're right. Klai Kerem actually does have a Shas HaKosher. The seeds themselves become asur when they take root. So the seed was mutter. It was always mutter for 20 days. Then you put it in the ground. Then the seed became asur when it took root. It's not when it grew later. It's not the growth. It's the actual seed becomes asur. So from here I can prove that the seed is asur, not the growth. Klai Kerem Ikorim Nesar. And that seed was mutter once upon a time before it took root. Mazar Rav Shmaya bar Zeiro, Hamavir otzitz nokov bekerem. Kind of were mechaven to a lot of this Gemara on Friday. So if you take a pot that has holes in the bottom, and the Gemara always understands if it has holes in the bottom, it nurses from the ground, from the ear, it takes in, so you have a otzitz nokov that you're bringing it through the vineyard. Im hoisev mosayim osur. If it adds 1/200th, 0.5%, it grows a little bit more in the vineyard, then it's asur. So Gemara says hoisif in. It seems like that what was added to this pot becomes asur, and not the pot itself. According to what we're saying now, the actual seed becomes asur once it takes root. Over here, it seems like that what grows extra on that tree that you already have a planted tree in a pot, and you bring it through the vineyard, and then it grows 0.5%. So that 0.5% becomes asur, but not the actual pot. Why not? The actual pot should become asur. According to what we just said, that in Klai Kerem the seeds become asur, so the whole pot should become asur. There's a contradiction in the actual pasuk itself. Ksiv pentikdash hamaleya. Hamaleya is referring to the extra, whatever grows. Tikdash, it should become asur, the extra growth. Uksiv hazera. The next word, the following word, is the zera, the seed. So what becomes asur in Klai Keren when you plant two seeds? Is it the extra or is it the seeds? Okay, tzad. So he explains. Zarua mi karoi bash rasha. It works out well. You can make a nafkamina if you plant seeds, so the seeds become asur. You're right, the actual seeds become asur. Zarua uba, but it's already growing, and only later on in its life it became a klaya kerem. Hoisif in loy hoisif loy. Then if it added, then it becomes asur. Some learn. I have to look into it. If hoisif means the whole thing becomes asur, or not. Hoisif. What does Rashi say? Rashi is just saying that, by the way, 1/200, the 0.5% means that the 200, it's really 199. It's 199 more than it, not 200 plus it. Fine. Zog Gemara.
He says that the whole plant becomes forbidden.
That's what he says,
Yeah.
and I saw other. I don't know. That's how I learned, and I think I saw that somebody learns not like that. What does the Mesivta say? Menachem, what does the Mesivta say about hoisif?
You're talking about the asur.
We're holding like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 lines down. Zarua uba hoisif in loy hoisif loy. Does he learn that the whole plant becomes asur? Look it up for me.
We're talking about the pot that we're bringing in with that plant, or all the trees that are there as well.
No, just the plant itself.
You mentioned an orange tree. Is there a kind with orange tree?
Yeah, or not?
Don't talk about me.
What?
Don't talk about me.
Bechlal? Okay.
The short one, I don't know.
Oh. Masnisin the loika aitana. So now we already had 6 explanations of how we learn basa b'chalav, and finally this is the last one.
So to go back a little,
Yeah.
I don't understand where we're coming from here. We're saying that milk was kosher, meat was kosher, then it's hashasa kosher.
Right.
Mix them together, you have a problem. Here we have seeds of apples, here we have seeds of oranges.
Right.
That's their shasa kosher. Why are we
Right.
saying that?
Exactly.
So
That's a
where's-
shas kosher.
so where's
But
that kosher?
if you're talking about the sprouts, you're talking about what comes out of the seed. You're not eating the seed. You're eating a tree that came out of the seed. That's not a shas kosher. When I look at an apple tree, you're not looking at the seed. You're not saying, "Oh, the seed used to be kosher, and now it's not because it's an apple tree." The apple tree has no connection to the seed. Depends at what point do you look at it. Do you look at the green thing that comes out of the ground that has nothing to do with the seed? That's not a shas. It's a piece of grass that came out of the ground.
From the minute it grows, it's growing.
If you say it's from the minute it grows,
Yeah.
you take a seed, you put it in the ground, and it's rooted, and then you uproot the whole seed with the little root.
Yeah.
That seed is asur. That's climb. But that wasn't the havamina. The havamina was just what comes out of the ground. What comes out of the ground never had a shasa kosher. That branch that comes out of the ground is not part of the seed. I don't view it as part of the seed. That branch was always asur. Would you view it as part of the seed?
No, but I mean, if I'm going to start cooking basa b'chalav together, you're mixing together. I'm not going to eat it. It's still half cooked. It's half
Yeah.
undercooked.
Yeah, but still the same basar that you were talking.
Yeah.
You took a pound of meat, and now that pound of meat is asur. So it's kosher, asur. I take a seed. Look, this is my fist. I take a seed, put it in the ground. 6 months later, out comes this.
Seed is gone.
Is this part of this? It's no connection. This is asur. The seed is still in the ground. I don't know what it is. It's rotten, it's disintegrated, it's nothing. But this is not a seed. This has nothing to do with what I put in the ground. This is what's asur. This never had a shas kosher. Says the Gemara, no. This is asur. I put this in the ground, and then a little thing comes out of it. Then I uproot the whole thing. Now I can't eat this. This used to be mutter, and now it became asur. The seed. Before the Gemara thought it's only what comes out of the ground that's klein. The growth. The Gemara says no, the actual seed becomes asur.
I think we remember tomorrow somewhere where the Bezin used to go around and actually on a certain date of the year and check whether it was climb coming out. And then rooted dead. They would actually fix a date.
What did you say?
Mazhirin ala kilayim, dinu shkolim.
Yeah. Okay. Mazir al klein. Okay, back to this. So now we had the 6 shitas in Basar B'chalav, and finally we're going to have one that's mechulik on everybody, and now our Mishnah as well. Masnisin loy kaitana the Sanya Reb Shimon ben Yehuda Omer Mishum Reb Shimon Basar B'chalav Osav Achilo Mutubano. So we have one shita that says that if you do cook Basar B'chalav, you're not allowed to cook it, you're not allowed to eat it, but you're allowed to benefit from it. Shnemar ki am kodesh ato. It says by treifa the word kodesh. Just like by treifa it says la kelef tashlichun oisoi. What do you do with the treifa? You could benefit from it. You could give it to your dog. Meila afkan osabachilo umutubano. So too basar b'chalav is mutubano. That's the final shita and the story done.
It's interesting because that's not the halacha. You know,
Right.
the final shita.
Yeah. Who's saying that? Somebody said the other day that's the final thing.
Actually, what the final thing in Gemara is where we end up in halacha.
In the Mishnah Brewer is like that. I don't know, Gemara also. Okay. Okay. Rebbe Akiva Omer. The plastic is. You know how it is. Those guys that are listening.
Chayavo.
Rebbe Akiva Omer Chayav Oif. What does Rebbe Akiva say? That only a behemoth is basar b'chalav midaraisa, but a chaya and a oif no basar b'chalav. Says the Gemara, Hani apkinu l'kiddush Shmuel. So what does Rebbe Akiva say? He has 3. It says 3 times. He learns 1 for it itself, 1 for not a chaya and not a oif. Okay, but we have a problem. We already used the other 2 for Shmuel. What does Shmuel say? That a chaylev, a piece of chaylev that you cook with milk, you're over. He says a sholil, a fetus. Also, you cook it with milk, you're over. So what's Rebbe Akiva going to do with this? Because over Rebbe Akiva, the Gemara doesn't say he argues with him, he agrees with him, but he doesn't need any psukim. Isser chalal isser, chaylev umeisa leitzricha kra. I don't need a pasuk for shchuta and chaylev, because what's the whole problem? The fact that it's chaylev, we know that it's a piece of chaylev. The Torah says it's chaylev. The question is, could you add another isser of basar b'chalav? Yes, no problem. Isser chalal isser according to Rebbe Akiva, and mela isser. And what about a shalil? What about a fetus? Gdim al yehu. It's a regular goat. A goat is a goat. I don't care if it's in the stomach, out of the stomach. You took it out. It looks like a goat. It tastes like a goat. So it's basar b'chalav. I don't need a pasuk for it. A yaytru lukulu. At the end of the day, I have 3 extra. Why do I have 3 extra? So I have 3 extra, but I need 1 for itself. I don't need 1 because it shouldn't have said gdi. It should say behem on the Torah. The fact that the Torah says gdi, even the number 1 is also extra. What do I learn with all 3? Prat l'chaya, va'oif, v'beim atmeya. I have 3 miutim. That there's no basar b'chalav on a pig, there's no basar b'chalav on a deer, and there's no basar b'chalav on a chicken. Rabbi Yossi Aglili omer nema lo yisoichlu. So Rabbi Yossi Aglili admits to Rebbe Akiva in the Mishnah that there's no basar b'chalav on a chicken, on a bird. Just he learns it out of gdi. It says gdi and not a chicken. And Rebbe Akiva learns it, one learns b'chalev imoy and the other one learns from gdi. Who says what? I forgot already. Ma'ikib ben Rabbi Yossi Aglili Rebbe Akiva. B'chalev imoy. I think that's Rabbi Yossi Aglili. Yeah. So, right, we just said, Gdi. Rabbi Akiva just says Gdi, and he's B'chalev imoy. Yeah, it says Rabbi Yossi Aglili. Rabbi Akiva says B'chalev imoy, and only something that nurses. It was last month's Shabbos that I said here. I stood there and I said that a chicken can nurse. Here we go again. A chicken cannot nurse. What?
You're getting back to it.
Yeah. Fine. So Rabbi Yossi Aglili says, look, it says in the Torah B'chalev imoy, in its milk. A chicken doesn't have milk. Forget about it. No chickens. So the Gemara says, so then what's the difference between Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Yosef Glili really? Is there a difference? So the Gemara, two ways to look at it. Ike benayu chaya. You're right. When it comes to chicken, Rabbi Yosef and Rabbi Akiva are the same exact shita. There's no basar b'chalav in deraisa. So the nafkamira would be only in a chaya, that according to Rabbi Akiva, there's no basar b'chalav on a deer and any chaya. According to Rabbi Yosef Glili, yes. Rabbi Yosef Glili saw a chaya deraisa. Rabbi Yosef Glili says it's mamish isa deraisa. Rabbi Akiva saw a chaya derabbanan. Ibay seima. This is better. There's actually machlokes in a chicken itself between Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Yosef Glili. Rabbi Akiva saw a chaya v'oif eno min ha'torah hom derabbanan asiri. If you look at the lashon of Rabbi Akiva, he says einon min ha'torah. That's his lashon, meaning it's not min ha'torah. You could be medayik, but it is derabbanan. Rabbi Yosef Glili says no. There's nothing. Rabbi Yosef Glili saw oif afidu min derabbanan nami lo yosir. Tani nami hochi. Open up that. Are you able to open up the 8-minute thing?
Yeah.
I don't know if you're going to get to it. Anyways, I made a picture, but I didn't print it out. It must be like all the way in the bottom of this page, like 3-4 minutes in, maybe less. I don't know. So, this has nothing to do with our sugya, but in the place of Rabbi Lezer, there's a question. If machshiri mitzvah, you have to do a bris milah on Shabbos. Can you be mechal Shabbos to make a knife? You be mechal Shabbos for the bris, now we know. But if you forgot to make a knife, if you forgot to organize a knife before Shabbos, could you make? So Rabbi Lezer says not only could you do it, you could cut down a tree on Shabbos to make coals, to make what?
It's a famous sheet of Rabbi Lezer.
Yeah.
Rabbi Lezer de Mila.
Rabbi Lezer the Mila.
It must be in theory. We don't hold that.
What? To go and make metal? And be ready by 8 o'clock chakras.
Anything can be prepared before.
Everything is a theory. I mean, it never happened in Metzias. But what did happen is, like, could you drive in a car to go fetch your knife from 10 miles away? What?
3D printer. You can print the knife today.
Yeah, 3D printer.
That could be a grandma.
Nice. Push the button on Shabbos. It's not really deraisis. I don't know. What?
It's not metal.
But you can. You could do it. You could do it with any material. With a rock. No, not metal. No, it doesn't work with metal.
You can make it metal, for sure you can.
But what's wrong with making a plastic
You can
knife?
make from titanium.
You can't make a really. Really? A ceramic thing.
Jets on his hand.
You can make a gun with a 3D printer. You can make a knife.
That was a plug
I know it's plastic.
plug for your props.
Yeah, exactly.
When you get your 3D printer.
Here's where it comes in. Here, this is for our sugya. And in the place of Rabbi Yosef Glili, since he paskin that there's no problem eating bird with milk, not only did he say it, he said there's no derabbanan at all. So in Mela, he went and they used to eat chicken and milk, no problem. Says the Gemara, Levi ikla lebi Yosef Rishba. Levi was the guest by Yosef the hunter. This is the picture I have. I gishmak a picture of a head of a, not so gishmak. But anyways, it's a bowl of milk, and out pops out a peacock's head. It's a beautiful bird. It has on its head, I don't know if you ever noticed, it has like 4 or 5 like roses, like flowers coming out of its head. It's a crazy bird. What is it called? Plume? Really? Nice. How do you know that? It's just a random fact. The plumes of a peacock. There's another bird we were talking about, Duchifas, has also like the beautiful crown. Anyways, who is eating? Anyway, you see, you're allowed to eat peacock. It's a whole nidon. If you're allowed to eat peacock, it's manenu. Not allowed. The Gemara says he ate peacock.
It's not a shot.
They have. They talk about it. I'm not making this up. It's already in the Shulchan Aruch.
We know in Europe before the war,
They were eating peacock. What a waste.
the shot today is
There's another type of peacock. There's a wild one.
the same as the wing that they had.
Uh-huh.
We haven't done them in the circle.
There's a tavasa with an extra name. There's a type of peacock that it's called a wild one. That's what they're saying. But the one that we have in the farms seems to be mutter.
We have this sefer that it's got pictures of all the birds.
Yeah, you showed me that.
Yeah.
From 1,000 years ago or something.
No, 500.
500 years ago.
15 handbags.
It's going to spill all over me. I know it. Yeah.
So we know for sure that they did have peacocks.
Here we
The
go.
Shia is, Moshe was also Shia in America
You got
after
it?
the war.
No.
They wanted to serve pheasants at the Chasana.
Yeah.
And Moshe said, if somebody from before the war can tell us that the pheasants that we have in America are the same as the ones that they had in Europe, then I'll be matter. He couldn't find anybody.
Here. It's not such a great picture, but instead of printing it out,
Is that peacock soup?
no, it's milk with the head of a peacock. That's what they served them. It looks something like this, I'm assuming.
Well,
Without his eye, like
probably was lying
it was lying sideways, but I think it's much cooler like this. Look at the beauty of it. It's more. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of these plumes. It's gewaldic.
The thing is, the one
This was a city of Rabbi Yehuda ben Meseir of Amina, and I thought to myself, Darsh Luke Rabbi Yosef Glili, Rabbi Yehuda ben Meseir held like Rabbi Yosef Glili. Do Amar Yotza Oiv Shein Lo Yichalei Veim. So this, anyways, corroborates our pshat that there is a difference between Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Yosef Glili. The Rabbi Yosef Glili holds that not only is a chicken not awesome in the raisa, but it's also mutter completely 100%. You could drink it, eat it with challah. There's no issa de rabbanan at all. There's no reason to be machmir. What? Rabbi Glili, and according to Rabbi Akiva, it's asur min rabbanon. Zok the Mishnah. I'm not sure, but I have a feeling this is like one of Rabbi Schoenberg's favorite Mishnayos. Says the Mishnah, Kevas nochri v'shel nevela. Yeah. There's no issa de rabbanon. There's no issa. It's zero. It's not even a chumrah. Just do it. It's bas. Everything, yeah, no problem.
If you're descendant of him.
Chicken burgers, why not? Cheese chicken burgers.
At what stage should they actually decide, historically, upon one set of halachas?
No, but you see that then they were very upset. In his day, Rebbe said, put him in chayrim. What's going on here? He had to come up with a whole excuse. It's probably the place of Rebbe Yisrael. It's one place. Nobody kept that. That was a big problem. I mean, it seems that's not the halacha. Says the Mishnah. Rebbe Glili. It's not a joke. That place.
People are waiting 6 hours between chicken and milk.
Makes sense.
It's crazy.
Chicken and milk.
You're waiting 6 hours.
Of course they are. Because that's how we paskin. All right. Says the Mishnah. Kevas nochi v'shel nevela.
We're worried about the
Makes
meat
sense,
order. That's
though.
what we're worried about.
This is just one sheet
But
that's
it
not.
makes sense because that's what there's not.
Hold on. If you have Rebbe Yisrael Glili or Rebbe Akiva, what are you passing like? It's Rebbe Akiva.
No, but I'm just saying that lemaisa.
I think. Yeah.
It's not a derived. For sure, it's not a derived. It's a rabbanon exeter because it might be like because people get.
That's Rebbe Akiva shita, but there's other shitas that say it's deraisa. Nachamal, time out. Let's go back. There's a sheet that says the Tanna Kama says that chicken is deraisa. Rebbe Akiva says it's the rabbanon. Rebbe Yisrael says it's nothing. It's 3 shitas. So according to 2 out of the 3, it's at least the rabbanon, maybe even the deraisa. Says the Mishnah, Kevas Nachri. When you talk about a keva, this is the keva. No.
We always got the chumrah.
The kula? It's the kula.
Chumrah now.
It's the kula. That's the biggest kula. Rebbe Yisrael, that there's no chicken and challah. All right, Rabbi say, remember the keva from the shchita? Here's the keva, number 4. First it goes into the hemses. No, where does it go into? Oh, this one, the keres. Then it goes into number 2. There's a koisa, is the one that looks like a honeycomb. The kids are the last one. Keva.
That's only when it's eating food to chew the cat. It goes through first.
Yeah, now we went through that whole thing that it drops right into here. The blue, you see the blue? The blue is the beautiful thing that we learned that a nursing cow, a calf, if it were to drink milk and go in the green direction, it would have no nutrients left by the time it got to the stomach because it's so strong. It's all the acids in the stomach destroyed. Because Baruch Hu made a special trick that only for nursing cows, it drinks milk and it goes in the blue direction. It hits, there's some sort of valve, it opens up a hole and drops it into stomach 3 and 4. It goes directly. It's mamash the flois habayra, how that works. It goes into 3 and then 4. But if you open up a cow, now we're discussing, you open up a cow, and you find milk, a nursing cow, you find milk in the keva. We call today rennet. Rennet is hardened milk, and from rennet you make cheese.
That's also niflas aboga.
Yeah,
Because
I knew he was going to love this.
normally
Yeah.
the milk would come flow straight out.
Right.
And the calf would not be able to digest it. So Kodesh Baruch Hu put into that stomach a
Enzyme.
enzyme
Yeah.
which coagulates the milk so that it stays in the stomach, and then the calf can digest it.
Doesn't slip out.
And
Doesn't
that
slip out.
enzyme is what we use in Shia.
To me, the first one is much bigger than Nace. That it knows that this is a calf drinking, and it temporarily, when it's a little baby, it diverts liquids in a different way than what other being has that? Imagine a human being. Oh, a baby goes this way. An adult goes this way. It's
When a
a
baby's
tremendous.
born, that's what happens. When a baby's born,
Yeah.
it changes the way the blood flows in the heart.
Great, it's a one-time thing. I'm
The
saying
whole-
this
the
is
whole expression.
when the baby, up until it's 2 years old, when it still nurses, or however old a cow is when it stops nursing, it has a completely different route. Waze tells it to go in the blue way. And then later on, when it gets older, it says, oh, you got to go
Same
green.
thing with the human. And that's in the stomach of the mother, it goes one way, and then the minute he comes out and starts breathing air, it changes.
Recalculate.
Fine, that's also a big kiddush. I mean, not kiddush, it's a big menace. I'm saying these are beautiful things in the place of Baira.
Some people
Anyways.
drink whiskey, go straight to the brain.
Akabanim. When the Mishnah says keva, by the way, when the Mishnah says keva, it's not referring to the physical, the meat of the keva. We have to remember the entire sugya. When it says keva, it's talking about the milk in the keva. Very weird. Keva means the milk in the. Then later on, when the Gemara really wants to talk about, or the Mishnah really wants to talk about, yeah, the Mishnah itself wants to talk about the actual keva, it calls it oyer hakeva. Okay, so now let's see inside. Kevas, right? It means the actual piece. Kevas nachri. So the Mishnah, the way we're reading it, is saying two halachas. If you buy an animal from a goy, b'shel nevela, and also a different animal from a Jew that dropped dead, no shchita, what halacha does this milk inside its stomach have? Harezu asura. The Gemara is going to explain why. We have to be choishish that there's. Well, according to the way we can understand the Mishnah right now, the milk in a nevela is nevela. It has halacha nevela. The Gemara is going to go away from that. But maybe right now in the Havamina, milk going through an animal is like the animal itself, just like the heart of a dead animal is a nevela. So the milk in the animal is also nevela. It's part of the animal. Maskonas Gemara. No, milk is no connection. Like we said the other day, blood is not part of the animal. It's not part of the gdi. Over here also, milk it happens to be sitting inside an animal. It's not part of the animal. Hamamid ba'or shel keva kshera. Oh, so now we're talking about the oir of a keva, meaning the actual abu masim. The whole this keva. Number 4, the keva. You wanna make cheese. What do? You take out the intestines, the last part, the keva. And you put the milk in there and it turns into cheese. It has a lot of good enzymes. If you do it, and it's kosher. So everything inside of it is also because it got a flavor of an avela. Now, just interesting here, I saw in Rashi, let's not go into this whole Rashi, but I just want to point out, there's a giant Rashi about. In this Rashi holds, and he holds the maskana, we're going to see later on, he holds that any milk that's inside an animal is considered part of the animal. And he says, I just thought it was interesting, Lashonis, like 10 lines down, he says, that's one funny Lashon, he says that this person's svara is as far as Mizrach is from Ma'ariv. And then he says also, all the way, like 2/3 down, this giant Rashi. I just thought those two things were interesting to me. Rashi admits, I made a huge mistake in halacha when it comes to putting salting milk with inside the keva. We're going to see that later. We don't. Right. And Rashi is completely ignored, as we're going to see by all the Rishonim, by all the by the Shulchan Aruch, by the Ramah. Nobody agrees to this Rashi at all, and they ignore him. Let's see. Says the Mishnah. Yeah, exactly. It's compromising Tosfos. Sheira sheyonkam in atreifa. Now you have a kosher animal who are nursed from a pig. So you have in the kosher animal, you have pig milk. Kevasa asura. So now we're dealing with pig milk. So what if it's inside a kosher animal? It's pig milk. Treifa sheyonkam in akshera. You have a pig that nursed from a cow. I have a picture. There is such a thing, I guess. In the farm, they share. The cow doesn't mind, I guess. I don't know. I saw a bunch of pictures, funny pictures. What?
Do you have the opposite is true also?
I couldn't find the picture of that. But
Calves.
it's not unheard of. There's pictures of dogs nursing pigs, and this one, pigs are big chazerim. They come and they nurse from everybody. They have no problem.
It's a national emblem of Rome.
What? Yeah. What?
The national emblem of Rome
Is what?
is the boar with the fallen piglets.
Oh, they have 8. Sometimes they have 8 sucking at a time. Pigs. That's what I found in pictures. A lot of pictures like that. She's just lying there, and there's like literally 8 lined up. They're pretty cute when they're young. Says the Mishnah. However, if you have a treif, you hear this is a big chiddush. You have a treif pig who nursed kosher milk, and you open up her stomach, you're allowed to drink the milk. And the Gemara is going to actually end up with it, unless you hold like Rashi. The Gemara ends up with both that they're kosher. Both the treif milk from the pig and the kosher milk from the cow inside the stomach is kosher. It has nothing to do. It's sitting there in its stomach. As the Gemara on the first part of the Mishnah, the Mishnah said two halachas. You get a dead animal from a guy, and you get a dead animal. But the dead animal from a guy is a dead animal. Omer Avuna is the same thing. Why is it two halachas? Omer Avuna hacha belekech gedim min agoy askinon. He took a live one, and we're concerned that maybe he drank milk from another cow that was treif. Let's say it was missing its whole hind leg. It's treif. Why should I be concerned about such a far-fetched thing? You're allowed to buy eggs from a goy. Why? Most animals is a roiv. Most animals are not treifa. So why should I be concerned? It says, this is a bigger concern. That maybe that's Rome?
Yeah, the two founders of Rome depicted as actually suckling from a wolf.
Oh yeah.
They were abandoned or something.
Lupa, symbol.
Fine. So we're concerned that maybe our kosher calf nursed from a pig. What's the difference between a treifa and a tmeya? It's common on the farm that the calf would drink from a pig. So by Jews also. We are careful with these things. If we ever saw our cow nursing from a pig, we'd run over and pull him away, but a guy wouldn't. So we have to be chayshish. Yeah. Right. He says even though we don't paskin, but we're machmer.
And that's mayo, yeah, right? So
Yeah.
Paskins that we're not chayshish that it's going to be mayo. But the thing is, one has to know that Tosfos is talking only about Yanikim and Atmeya. But we're not talking about goy. When it says Loikim and Nachri, that you're buying from a goy, you're buying a live animal from a goy,
Right.
and doing shchita on it. And
Yeah.
we're not chayshish that animal had been yoinik from an Atmeya. We're not talking about buying Gosher Rennet.
No, but that's the fourth Tosfos. The fourth Tosfos down says that today we don't do it. We're makbid, even though the halacha is not like that.
It sounds. It says like Hashinan.
Vein laga ligach kevas nachri Tosfos says. Ubdiavad mutter.
We don't mean a dead thing. We buy live animals.
No, I'm talking about the fourth Tosfos. Yeah, the fourth Tosfos. Yeah, live animal.
The issue is where this agricultural animal only suckled from a trophy animal, or intermittently, sometimes this, sometimes that?
No, intermittently.
We're talking about.
We're worried that there's a little bit of milk in
We
there.
don't know. So
We don't know. It's not only.
3 minutes.
What 3 minutes? Motzei Shabbos. We have 30 minutes.
You know that.
There's ain't cheer on Motzei Shabbos.
Second round of coffee.
We also started 5 minutes late, 7 minutes late.
He's talking about the second round of coffee.
Next week, 9 o'clock.
What? Really?
Change the clock. Clock change.
We have to decide during the week at what time. Okay.
9 o'clock.
Shem Yirachim. Okay. Zok the Gemara. Wow, I don't know what I'm going to do with my 8 minutes. Start 8-minute daf at 10 o'clock. Shem Yirachim. No shir on Sunday morning.
Yeah, we're long Friday.
That's true.
You can have some.
It doesn't matter. At Friday at 5 o'clock it was finished. No matter how much time you give me, it's going to be.
At 8:30 instead of 9.
Okay, we'll see. We'll discuss. Let's see what time it is.
8:30.
Says Shmuel. Ushmuel Omar Chodektani. It's actually one thing. It's not two halachas in the Mishnah. It says Keva Shchitas Nochri Nevela. If a guy shechted an animal, that animal, it's considered a nevela. So what? That the rennet from a nevela is asur. Umiyomar Shmuel Hachi. V'omar Shmuel v'nei Masru Gvinas Hagoyim v'nei Shmamidim Oisa Ba'or Kevas Nevela. You see the word or? Why is the cheese of a goy asur? Not because the rennet is asur, because they produced it in the actual keva,
They used
in
it
the
after
stomach.
fact.
What?
They used it after the fact, you're saying.
They used an avela stomach. They use a kishka
As a catalyst after.
as the catalyst, not the rennet,
The normal-
but the actual
The
stomach.
normal way it's done was that they used to take the cave and cut it up into tiny little pieces.
I use it a bunch of times,
Just take one little tiny piece of that keva, of the
which had the enzyme in
the
it.
whole thing, and it would be a catalyst for the whole
Right.
thing. So
They never used rennet itself. You're
They didn't put the
saying,
milk into the keva. They took
The
sliced
keva.
and put it into the milk.
right? So what's the question? It says mefurish. It says here that Shmuel holds. You hear? It says that what's the problem? The problem is that they use the actual keva, meaning that treif. But if you found hardened milk inside the keva, but you're not using the keva, it should be mutter according to Shmuel. But that's not what we're saying. Pshat in Shmuel in the beginning of our Mishnah that it's the nevela. It's a dead nevela. The rennet. Forget about the keva. The rennet is also treif according to Shmuel. Ha keva guva sharia. Lo ikasha. Kam koidim chazara. Kan la'acha chazara. What's going on here? So you should all remember from Avodah Zarah, so I don't have to explain to you what it says here. We'll go weiter. In Avodah Zarah it says that Rabbi Shua says that the rennet, just milk flowing through an avela, has a halacha of an avela, the halacha of the animal. So they asked him a bam kasha. How could that be? It says that a kohen could drink or eat the rennet from a oila. And the oila we know has to go on the mizbeach. Everything has to go on the mizbeach. So how could he drink? Obviously, it's just excrements of the oila. The kohen could drink excrement all day long. If he had a piece of soya fancies him, he'll eat that. Over here you have a rennet, so he'll eat the rennet. So he said, you're right. He had charata, completely charata. He says it's a great kasha. And therefore he took it back. He says, no, rennet doesn't have the halach of an animal. Rennet is something else. And he came up with another reason why it's asur over there. He said, because when you're talking about it's avodah zarah, it's the rennet of avodah zarah, and avodah zarah, even excrement is considered avodah zarah when it puffs up the body of the cow. It gives it a little bit more weight. I don't know if you guys remember that whole sugya. It gives it a little, and you didn't like it, or like, what? Remember, you gave me a little hard time then. I remember.
It makes it more valuable.
It makes it more valuable. It gives it a shtickle. If you think about it, we said the other day, like in the shlachtos, they turn off the lights. If the chickens move a little bit, they incur a tremendous loss. All that movement comes off in weight. Turn off the lights. They don't move. They get them to drink beforehand, and they get more weight coming out. Right? We were saying that. So if you, anyways, any gram helps. So it has a little bit more rennet in its body. It's more gishmak for the avodah zarah. Anyway, akol panav v'ofen. But, and over there it also says, and here we're going to say the same thing, that what's very interesting is that even though Rabbi Shua completely took it back, he did a 180, but since he said it as a mistake, and imagine, I don't know how long it was that these Mishnayos went into the system, and people sang it as a song, and it became just part of life. It stayed in the Mishnah. Finished. That's it. Rabbi Shua's first shita, as wrong as it is, it's in there. So Mela says the Gemara, when Shmuel says in our Mishnah that rennet is also because it's like an avela, that goes according to Rabbi Shua. They proved him wrong. But in Echanami, we don't pass him like that. We're going to have a little bit more of it soon. It says in the Mishnah that if a kosher animal nurses from a pig, then the milk is treif. Voktani, and then it says, but the second part is more important for now, that a treif animal that has kosher milk in it, a pig that nurses from a cow, kosher milk, and then you chop open the pig, you're allowed to drink the milk. That's the Gemara. Voktani reisha kevas nochiv shel nevela raises surah. It says that milk in an nevela is asur. So milk in a pig should also be asur. It's unbelievable kasha. On the one hand, you're telling me milk that's found inside a pig that's a tummy animal, you're allowed to drink it, but milk that's found in a dead kosher animal, you're not allowed to drink it. What's the difference? I gotta make it, you're right. It should be mutter. This milk in the nevela should be 100% mutter, but it looks like you're eating nevela. But by a treifa, there's treifa, not meya. What do I say? The treifa has a shchita, so it looks like it's kosher. Nobody's going to make that mistake. It should be a kolshkin. Nobody's going to come to eat it. There's no point in making zera amris law. Yet you say it's still aser. Treifa shchuta the shares aser lemechamina like kolshkin. Over here for carrot, it makes more sense for a bun to be geyser on a treifa. People might actually eat a treifa. It looks like a great animal. It has a little hole in its lung, but it didn't drop dead. Even goyim don't eat dead animals that weren't slaughtered. Treifas they would eat. So you should make treifa. Elo Rabbi Yisrael Rabbi Yochanan loy kashi. Kan koidim chazara, kan lacha chazara, u'mishna leizazim kaima. So when we say that a nevela, milk inside of a nevela is also, that's because it's going according to Rabbi Shua before he took it back. And he held that milk inside an animal is like the animal. So it has a halach of a nevela, maybe he shouldn't eat it. But later on when he took it back, he said that the milk inside a treifa doesn't have a halach of a treifa. And Memela we said it's mutter, but Mishnah leizazim koima, even though he took it back, the Mishnah remained as is. I guess it would really mess them up. If you took out a whole line from a Mishnah, it would confuse everybody. They wouldn't know how to do the song. It would mamish mess them up. Omar Rabbi Chia bar Abba Omar Rabbi Yochanan Mamid the Bekevas Nevelos. This is just, now we're just going to say the bottom line with everything. Mamid the Bekevas Nevelos ve'Mamid the Bekevas Shchitas Nachri. So Rabbi Yochanan says that you could use the rennet of an avela ve'Mamid the Bekevas Shchitas Nachri. But you can't, he holds, and we don't pass it like this, you can't use a goyish animal. What's the difference? We have to be concerned for Avodah. You buy an animal from a guy, he's going to make the milk inside of it Avodah Zarah. Of course, it has to go according to Rabbi Eliezer. So now this Rabbi Yochanan is saying, no, there's no difference. We don't have to be worried. Maybe he made a Avodah Zarah out of it. So the rennet of an avela, the rennet of a goyish animal is all good. The halacha is that you cannot use the physical keva because that's an avela and that's a problem. It's confusing, right? It says or keva and then it just says keva. The or means the physical keva itself, the abu masim. Where it becomes very interesting. Interesting that my Gemara doesn't have any kind of parentheses or things, but in every other Gemara that I saw has.
With the Rashi, you don't have it.
Right, and according to Rashi, you don't have it, but according to the Shulchan Aruch doesn't even bring down Rashi at all as a Manda Omar. He's not Goyrus Rashi. Finished. He doesn't exist, Rashi. According to Ramah, doesn't exist. But the Gemara says it. It doesn't matter if a kosher animal drank from a pig or a pig drank from a kosher animal. The milk is kosher if you find it inside it. My taima, we look at it as excrement only. Now Tosfos makes some sort of pshara. He agrees with Rashi and doesn't agree with Rashi. Like I said, the Shulchan Aruch doesn't talk about Rashi because Rashi holds that milk inside an animal is considered is treif. But Tosfos says, well, maybe it depends. If it's liquid, then I agree with Rashi that it's treif. But if it's already hardened, then I say, like the Gemara says over here, that it's not. And I forgot who it is. One of the what? Well, the Mishnah, our Mishnah says that a treifa shiyanka is kosher. So Rashi can't argue in that. I don't think you can argue that. I think so. Here, look at Tosfos. He says the Rabbeinu Tam. Boimer Rabbeinu Tam, just 5 lines from the bottom. Dani mili chol tzol shebetei chakei v'lo yichoshev pirsho. HaKosh b'tei chakei v'choshev pirsho. Nimlach b'tei chakei v'mutor. I don't know.
Between the milk and the actual
Rennet.